Well, you've all been waiting, but I promise you, no one has been waiting as long as I have to be able to drive this. This has really been hanging over my head since October of 17 when I took it apart. That is a very long time ago. A project of this magnitude, I know it might be not that big of a project for some people, but I have a few irons in multiple fires, so to stay on topic and stay on one project is, well, a challenge. So, without further ado, I bring you my 5.3 swapped LX450. Today is a momentous occasion because today I'm going to drive my Land Cruiser. It's been 3 years since over 3 years since I took this thing apart, and it just feels fantastic to be able to get in, turn the key, and go. Now, it's not 100%, but I can drive it. It does have some exhaust leaks, so it makes it sound like an old pickup truck, but it does have a pickup truck engine, so it kind of goes with the territory. Anyway, let's go for a ride. So, I'm not gonna lie, this is not the very first time I've driven it. This isn't the first time this is not the first drive as such, but this is the first time I'm filming myself driving it. So, got a lot of kinks worked out. There's still quite a lot left. I was able to get this thing licensed, and I immediately, 12 hours later, started pushing snow with it. If you're wondering how I plow snow with an 80 series Land Cruiser, check out one of my other videos. I've got probably put a link in the description or something. But this thing is an awesome plow truck, just awesome. Unfortunately, I still don't have the AC working, so defrost, not the best without AC. But this, just a few things left to work out. But it drives great, it drives straight, it doesn't have any weird vibrations. And aside from the exhaust leak, it doesn't really make any odd noises or anything. It's really quite nice to drive. It's just like it was. It actually, it might be a little bit harsher of a ride because there's less weight in it. The new drivetrain is probably 150 pounds lighter, I would say, maybe 200 pounds lighter than the original engine and transmission. So it might have raised the front end up or made it ride a little more harsh, but it could also be the fact that it's been over 3 years since I have driven it. One thing that's worth noting is not so much that it's a ton faster. I mean, it is, but it needs so much less throttle input to drive like a normal human being. Whereas before, at least I felt like you'd have to wring this thing's neck to get on the highway, and now it just takes 15, maybe 20% throttle application, and it cruises right on up to 60 or 70 miles an hour. And if you want to get there in a hurry, it'll do it. To be able to drive this again and actually say that I got a project done, even though it's not done, but be able to use the time I've invested in it, I can't even put it into words. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there was a point in this project where I thought about going back and finding another 1FC and putting it in, because I could have gotten it done a lot quicker. But I'm glad I stuck with it and saw this project through. This was worth it. It was absolutely worth it. This video is, how is it on fuel? Well, I put a little over 200 miles on it, so I honestly can't tell you. It's been 200 miles of pushing snow, lots of idle time, some tuning time in there, so I'm not, I don't have an accurate representation of how efficient or inefficient this is going to be. But I think once the weather turns and I don't have to push snow anymore, which hopefully is never again, then at that point I will have some answers for that question. But this thing cruises just great. I'm going about 75 miles an hour. guys an idea of what this will do. And it sounds cool. It's certainly no rocket ship. Of course, I opted for probably one of the least powerful engines of this platform, but again, I wanted to run 87 octane. I wanted it to be as fuel efficient as possible, and I also did this swap on a budget. I didn't really want to put some expensive engine in this and get bad gas mileage and have to put premium in it. You know, this is likely a 5,000 pound brick. It's never going to be fast, but it's certainly a lot less terrible to drive as far as, you know, getting on the highway. It drives like a normal car now. It's goose it getting on the highway here. I think the 1FC would be at 40 right now. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It is so much more pleasurable to drive than it used to be. It is nowhere near as terrifying getting on the highway, merging with traffic. I can only imagine how much better this is at elevation. Now, I'm at sea level here, so I don't really know that, but when this thing makes its way back out to a higher elevation like Moab or Colorado, I'm going to be very happy that I chose a bigger engine with a lot more power. There is still work to be done. It does have an oil leak. It leaks profusely from that cheap Dorman oil pan. Do not buy that pan, for the love of God. I know it's cheap, but it's cheap for a reason. Find a factory GM F-body pan. Don't cheap out on that. I'm going to have to pull the pan down, probably do that at my first oil change, which I'm hoping to do that at the first 1,000 miles. I've got about 800 to go. It also has a slight coolant leak from the makeshift lower radiator hose. I hope to have a solution for that. But all in all, it's going to be a bit before I post an update on this truck. I'm still going to work on it. I want to get most of those issues ironed out, and I will post an update. I think I've got some new wheels for it as well. I'm really happy that a project of this duration can be enjoyed. I can enjoy all of that time I spent over the last 3 years slaving away at this thing, and I can also move on to other projects, which is why I'm not going to post an update for a little while. I am, however, going to be buying a web domain and posting every wiring diagram I use to do the swap, making my own wiring diagrams to show you how to wire things in. I really think there needs to be a one-stop shop for all the information to swap one of these trucks. This really transformed how this drives. I mean, this is how it should drive. Not saying the 1FC is a terrible engine. It was adequate in its day, but it's not this. This is like the low octane. I know this isn't fast. I want to get back to that point. This is not a rocket ship. This is probably one of the slower vehicles I own still, but it is so much better to drive. You're just going to have to swap your own truck to find out. I really hope you enjoyed my series of videos. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'll have my email at the bottom of this, so you can email me questions on your swap. I'm not sure that I will have an answer for you, but I'll do my best. I want to see more of these trucks with V8s in them. I think that is the answer. Don't forget to subscribe and enjoy your day.